The Clockmaker's daughter. The village of Larkspur had always been a quiet place. Too quiet, some said. Nestled between a ring of whispering pines and the slow-moving river, its streets felt frozen in time. Most people who lived there preferred it that way. They liked routines, the familiar faces, the sound of old bicycles on cobblestone, and the overly friendly bakery cat that visited every doorstep. But everything changed the day the clockmaker's daughter returned. Her name was Elara Finch, and she hadn't stepped foot in Larkspur for 14 years. Not since the night her father disappeared inside his workshop and never came out again. Elara had been 18 then, barely old enough to understand what grief could carve out of a person. Her father, Brannock Finch, had been a local legend, a gentleman with clever hands who built clocks that never needed winding. People said he spoke to gears as if they were alive. Others whispered that time itself listened to him. When he vanished, people assumed the worst, but his workshop door was found locked from the inside, and the enormous clock tower he had built, standing in the center of the village, stopped at exactly 3:30. For 14 years it never ticked again, until the morning Elara came back. Chapter 1. The Return. Elara stepped off the dusty bus with nothing but a suitcase, a long coat, and the kind of quiet sadness that comes from old mysteries. The village looked unchanged. The same crooked lamppost, the same faded sign for the bakery, the same stone bridge she used to race across as a child. But when she glanced at the clock tower, her breath caught. The hands had moved. Not much, barely a minute, but she knew it instantly. It had been stuck at 3:13 for years. The entire town knew that number by heart. And now it read 3:14. A single minute, a single impossible shift. Elara Finch, a voice called. Turning, she saw Mrs. Alder, the old librarian, bundled in her usual brown shawl. I knew that was you. Mrs. Alder's eyes softened. You look just like your father. Elara forced a smile. Is the workshop still exactly as he left it? Mrs. Alder said. The mayor insisted it be kept locked, said it was a piece of history. History, Elara thought, or a warning. Has the clock tower done anything strange lately? Mrs. Alder hesitated, fingers tightening on her shawl. This morning it ticked. Elara felt the air shift. Just one tick? One too many, dear. Chapter 2. The Workshop. The workshop sat at the edge of the forest, just where the trees started leaning in as though trying to listen. Elara remembered running through the doorway as a child. Her father always said it was a place where time behaved, mostly. It looked smaller now, dustier, but the brass lock was still the same one the mayor had placed on the door 14 years ago. Strangely, it was open. Elara pushed the door with a trembling hand. It creaked wide. Inside, everything was exactly where her father left it. Tiny clocks lined the walls like watching eyes. Gears lay in neat piles. A magnifying lens still sat on the main desk, pointed towards a brass pocket watch Elara remembered clearly. Her father called it his stubborn child. It never kept the right time. But now it was ticking. A steady, bright sound filled the room. Tick, tick, tick. Her heart hammered. She reached for the watch. It flipped open on its own. Inside, instead of numbers, it displayed 5 words carved in her father's handwriting. Find what I couldn't. The workshop temperature dropped. Clocks on every shelf began ticking again. First softly, then louder until the entire room throbbed with mechanical heartbeat. Elara stumbled back, covering her ears. The ticking stopped all at once, and then she heard it, a whisper, not from a person, but from everywhere. Through the tower. The pocket watch slammed shut. Chapter 3. The Mayor's Warning. Mayor Reed was a short, impatient man with spectacles that always slid down his nose. When Elara arrived unannounced at his office, he nearly dropped his tea. Elara Finch! I wasn't expecting. You knew the workshop door was unlocked, she said. You knew the clock started again. Reed's face paled. I didn't unlock it. I don't think anyone did. Elara, his voice softened. There are things your father was involved in. Experiments, theories about time, portals, things people aren't meant to touch. My father wasn't a mad scientist, she said sharply. No, he was brilliant. That's the problem. The mayor pulled a folder from a drawer. 2 days before he disappeared, he came to me. Said he had discovered something inside the tower. Reed swallowed. Said it couldn't. It could rewrite the edge of reality. Elara stared at him. Rewrite? He was frightened, Elara. Truly frightened. She felt something icy settle in her chest. What was in the tower? She whispered. Reed shook his head. He wouldn't say, only that it was trying to speak to him. Elara froze. Trying to speak? Just like the whisper she heard. I need the keys, she said. Absolutely not. The tower is sealed. And after this morning's movement, he wiped sweat from his temple. We don't want to provoke anything. I don't want to provoke anything either, she said. I want answers. Reed hesitated, then pushed a heavy key across the desk. If you hear anything, he warned, do not respond. Elara slipped the key into her pocket. She didn't tell him she had already responded. Chapter 4. The Tower. The clock tower loomed over the center of Larkspur like a watching sentinel. Its stone walls were cracked from seasons of frost, yet the brass hands shone as if freshly polished. Elara climbed the spiral staircase slowly, every step echoing. Halfway up, she heard it again. Tick, but not from the tower, from something following her. Elara spun around. No one was there. When she reached the top, she found a circular room filled with gears, massive ones, each taller than a person. Some were still covered in dust. Others spun gently, impossibly, though no power source existed. Her father's workbench sat in the center. On it rested a large journal labeled Brano C. Finch, Chronology Notes. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Most pages were diagrams, equations, notations about time behaving like water, able to ripple, pool, and fracture. But one line was circled again and again. 313 is the breach. Elara frowned. She flipped to the next page. More frantic writing, less neat. The tower is not a clock. It is a door, and something is knocking. The air in the room changed. Slowly the tower clock chimed. Once, twice, a third time, deep metallic, then a fourth. Elara felt the floor tremble. The journal pages flipped on their own until they stopped on a sentence written in a shaky hand. If the hands move again, it means the door is opening. The clock hands outside shifted. 3:15. A cold wind swept through the room, though no windows were open. The gears began spinning faster, grinding against each other, metal shrieking. And then a voice, not a whisper this time, but clear, spoke behind her. Elara Finch? She turned slowly. A figure stood near the staircase, tall and thin, wearing a coat the color of dusk. His face was obscured by shadows, but she saw his eyes, not red or glowing, just ancient. I've waited a long time, the figure said, for the clockmaker's daughter. Chapter 5. The Visitor. Who are you? Elara whispered. A traveler, he said, stepping closer, from a place your father glimpsed but never reached. You knew my father? I guided him, the figure said, as I now guide you. Elara's pulse hammered. Guide me where? He looked towards the mass of gears. Into the seam, he discovered. Elara stepped backward. No, you're lying. I do not lie. Time does not lie. The figure tilted his head. Your father opened the door, but he could not cross. You can. The tower groaned as the gears spun faster, shaking the wood beneath their feet. A faint glow gathered between the gears, a slit of light stretching wider. A doorway. Elara stared, unable to breathe. What's on the other side? She asked. A place where time flows without boundaries, the traveler said softly. A place he wanted to reach. A place that called him. Elara? She froze. It was her father's voice. From the light, Elara, help me. Her heart cracked open. Dad? It's a trap, the traveler whispered. Those are only echoes. Or he's alive, she snapped. The light flickered violently. Elara, the voice said again. I need you. Tears stung her vision. The traveler reached out a hand. This is not your destiny. But the voice in the light, her father, crying her name, she stepped forward. Lightning cracked through the tower. The doorway widened like a mouth. The traveler shouted, Elara, stop! But she didn't. She ran straight into the light. Chapter 6. The Other Side. There was no pain, just weightlessness, like sinking into warm water. Then, silence. Elara opened her eyes. She stood in a vast field under a silver sky. Time felt thick. Sound was muffled. Every breath echoed strangely. And there, leaning against a broken pillar, was a man with gentle eyes and familiar hands. Dad, she whispered. He turned slowly. Elara, he breathed. She collapsed into his arms. For a long moment she forgot everything. The clocks, the warnings, the traveler. You're alive, she whispered. I am and I am not, Brannock said quietly. Elara pulled away. What does that mean? This place, it keeps you. It doesn't let you return unchanged. We can go together, she insisted. The door is still open. Her father smiled sadly. Elara, that wasn't me calling you. The world dimmed. Her throat tightened. What? I tried to stop you, he said. But the echoes here, they mimic what you want to hear. The ground trembled beneath them. You must leave before the seam seals and you're trapped here too. No! Tears streamed down her face. Not without you. Brannock placed a hand on her cheek. You must live a life, Elara, not carry mine. But, he pointed behind her. The sky tore open again. The door waved back. Elara, he said softly, I love you. That is real. Take that with you. She sobbed. Please come with me. He stepped back. Elara, go. She ran. The world shook, collapsing into light. She reached for the doorway, and something grabbed her ankle. Not her father, a shadow, pulling her down. She screamed, kicking wildly. A hand seized hers, pulling her upward with impossible strength. The traveler, move, he shouted. Elara lunged through the doorway as the seam slammed shut behind her with a sound like thunder. Chapter 7. Back to Larkspur. Elara collapsed onto the tower floor, chest heaving. The gears slowed, the glow vanished. The hands outside the tower slid backward. 3:13. The traveler knelt beside her, breathing hard. You were not meant to cross, he said. I saw him, she whispered. He's trapped. He's at peace, the traveler replied. He chose to remain. Elara wiped her cheeks. Why did you help me? Because your father helped me once, he stood, and because time owes him a debt. What happens now? She asked. You live, he said simply. You mend clocks, or write books, or plant gardens. Time will guide you gently now. And you? I return to where I belong, he said, across the sea. He walked towards the staircase, coat rippling like smoke. Elara, he said without turning, your father was proud of you, even at the end. Then he disappeared into the shadows. The clock tower remains at 3:13, silent and still. No one in Larkspur knows why, but they no longer ask. Elara reopened the Finch workshop, not to unravel time, only to fix the clocks people bring her. She keeps her father's journal locked in a drawer. Sometimes, when the night is very quiet, she hears a faint ticking in the tower, but only once, never twice, just enough to let her know her father is near, watching time carry her forward and never back. The end.